Hello guys, in this video I'm going to walk you through how you can create various shapes in Photoshop. So I'm just going to get rid of this our text by pressing delete and it will go away. And to select your shapes tool, you check your toolbar, and when you come down here where my mouse pointer is and then you right click, you can see all the various shapes under the rectangle tool, even though the rectangle is the one showing in the toolbar. When you actually right click, you see there are a bunch of tools right here that you can use. The first tool that we are going to look at is the rectangle tool. And the rectangle tool, as the name suggests, basically helps us to create rectangles on our design. So if I select the rectangle and then I click and drag right here, it will create our rectangle for us. This will bring up the properties panel, but then you can just click on this to hide it. You can just click and drag to create your rectangles right here. Once creating the rectangle, you can actually go back and select your move tool, because that's how you move it. So after creating your rectangle tool, you go back to the move tool and then you click and drag your move, and then you click and drag your rectangle to where you actually want it to be. With the rectangle tool, we can use the rectangle to also create perfect squares. So for example, when you right click here, you don't see any square tool right here. That is because we can use the rectangle tool to create squares. So in order to create a square, you select your rectangle tool right here, and if you see this one appearing, just press enter to make it disappear, and then you can now create your squares. So if I want to create a square, what I'll do is I'll not just click and drag. This time I'll press shift. So when you press shift, it is going to lock it for you. It is going to lock a perfect square for you. So if I release shift like this, you see that it has gone back to rectangle. If I want to go back to a perfect square again, I'll press shift in order to create my perfect square, just like this. And then I'll create maybe another one like this. I'll create another one just like this. This is how you create rectangles and squares just using the rectangle tool. I'm actually going to delete this right here, and I'll just leave just one rectangle over here. So I'll come back to my rectangle tool and I'll right click, and the next tool you see is the ellipse tool. The ellipse tool or the circle tool is used to create circles on your designs. So for example, if I click and drag like this, you can see it's not creating a perfect circle for me. It's kind of like a sphere. So if I want to create a perfect circle, what I'll do is just like the square, I'll press shift right here to lock in my perfect circle for me. So this way I can actually create perfect circles. So how you create it is you click and drag, then you press shift. If you release shift, it is not going to give you a perfect circle, but then you have to click and hold shift until you are satisfied, and then you release the mouse first, and then you now release your shift key. That is how you create your perfect circle. When you are creating your perfect circle, and then you click and drag right here, but then you press shift, and then you are not done creating it, and then you release the shift, you can see that it's not going to create a perfect circle for you. So you have to hold on to the shift until you are satisfied with your perfect circle, and then you leave the mouse first before you now leave your keyboard or the shift key. That is how you create your perfect circle. When you right click right here, you see our triangle tool. We can use the triangle tool to create triangles, just like the name suggests. So you click on triangle tool right here, and then you click and drag. So if you click and drag, you can see that it's not also creating a perfect rectangle for us. And what you can do is you press the shift again to lock in your rectangle. You just click and drag, and then when you are satisfied, you release your mouse and then your keyboard. and that will create a perfect triangle for you. So I'm just going to go back to my move tool, and I'll be able to move this around. I'll select my ellipse tool right here. So I'll come back to my layers, select my ellipse tool, and then I'll drag it and bring it right here. The next tool, under the shapes tool, right click again, you see there is a polygon tool right here. The polygon tool is used to create polygons. So you click on the polygon tool, and actually there are 6 or 8 sides right here. So here is how you set the number of size that your shape is going to have. Polygons have up to more than 5 sides. So you can actually just type 5 in here, and then you click and drag to create your 5-sided shape for you. Whilst you are creating it, don't forget to press shift to lock in a perfect polygon for you. So if I actually want to change this 5 to maybe an 8, I can just type in 8 and then click on press enter, and then I'll click and drag while pressing shift to create my perfect polygon, or 8-sheet polygon for me, 8-sided polygon for me. So I'm going to go back to my move tool. As I said, the move tool is used to move things around in Photoshop. So after doing everything here, just press Vin to go back to your move tool. That is the shortcut key for move tool. So you press Vin to go back to the move tool, and then you can now click and drag. You've also observed that the colors of our shapes are in purple. That is because our color picker tool, since we changed it, that is why our shapes are all in purple. So if you actually want to change the shape, I'm just going to close these properties right here. So if you actually want to change any color on your workspace right here, you come to your layers panel, and then you select the layer that you are trying to change the color. So for example, if I want to change this color, I want to change this polygon's color right here. So I'm just going to come to my layers panel, and then you click on the thumbnail right here where my mouse pointer is, not on the layer, where my mouse pointer is right here. So I'm just going to double click on it to bring up the color picker tool. That way I can change my polygon to any color that I actually want, just like this. So if I want to change the color of this rectangle, this was the first rectangle that we created, so it is going to be listed as rectangle 1. So you click on rectangle 1, double click on the thumbnail right here, it will bring up the color picker tool, and then you can now change the color right here. We can do that for all the shapes we've created so far. Something like this. You can create, you can change the colors to any color that you actually want, just like that. So you guys can practice, just go through how you can change the colors and everything. So when you actually come back to the shapes or the shapes tool or the polygon tool right here, right click, you see there's a line tool which is used to create lines. Just click and drag, it is going to create a line for you like this. So you can see your line has been created right here, but usually it is not that used. And the next thing you see here is the custom shapes tool. So when you select the custom shapes tool and you look up right here, you can see there are a bunch of shapes that Photoshop has installed for us. So you can actually just click on one here and then click and drag. Don't forget to press shift, click and drag to create our sample 3 for us, just like that. So that is a custom shape tool. This is how you can create a custom shape tool or any other tool that you want. So I urge you guys to practice, and basically this is what the shapes tool does. So when you actually come down here, right click, the shortcut key is U. You can see the shortcut key for each of the tools here is U. So you just come to your shape tool. If you are trying to create a rectangle, you can click on the rectangle tool, you can draw your rectangle, and when you are done, go back to your move tool. You can come back and then you can check the colors right here. So you can change the color to any color that you want. And yeah, basically that is how you create shapes. And in the coming lessons, we are going to be utilizing shapes a lot. In every design that you see, we actually use shapes to bring up all to bring up the design together. So the shapes are very, very important. So for example, when you are creating a design and you want to input some pictures into a circle, you have to go and create a circle first, and this is where the shapes tool comes into play. So I urge you guys to practice with them how to change their colors, how to draw perfect circles, how to draw perfect squares. So yeah, this is what the shape tool does. So I hope you guys understand everything that we have done in this video.